Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. I hope everyone had an awesome weekend. I had a ton of fun with the Viper Club up by Orlando, and then Sanford. We had an awesome lunch the next day. It was a good time. We got to meet a bunch of really cool Viper folks that I haven't met before. They're kind of over middle of the state, over towards the Space Coast. So well worth the trip, and a ton of cool people. Got to see people I know like Angel and Haley, and um, a friend of mine, a respected diesel mechanic, joined me at the party, which was really cool. And yeah, we had a really nice time there. And then Saturday we went to a Cars and Coffee in a suburb called Lake Mary, and they have a really cool Cars and Coffee there. There were a lot of cool cars. Um, the TDI convertible Bug was cool. A couple of Porsche GT3 RSs. There was a GT3 RS 4.0. If you know what the 4.0 is, you know that's a very good sign. There was a really cool tricked out key truck. There were a lot of cool people there. Uh, there were hardcore racing Corvettes that don't have harnesses. I think that's a C8 thing now. I don't know. I'm not part of the C8 gang, so I don't know if you're supposed to have all of the racing livery on your car, but not have harnesses. Is that how it works? I don't know. I know it the opposite way. I know folks that have no livery on the side of their car, and they have a full cage and harnesses in the car. So maybe that's just a C8 thing, and I don't get it. Anyway, I don't own a pair of New Balances either, so I guess we're all even. Other thing I wanted to point out is thank you everyone, all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. When I started this up, the page reloaded, and I was like, holy crap, there's a whole bunch of new subscribers. So thank you guys. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Hopefully you're going to enjoy all of the stuff that we have, that I have coming up, and all the fun adventures that we do with all these cars. Not only the racing stuff, but also like stuff with the limo, and stuff with friends' cars, and Cars and Coffee, and track stuff, and all of that. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. And like I always say, questions, comments, whatever, put them down there. Shoot me a text or email. I'm really easy to get a hold of, and I'll definitely reply to all you guys. Who else is here? Hey, Liz. It's hard for you guys are like really far away, so it's hard for me to read the little tiny print. I wanted to do an unboxing of the latest race car, and here we go. What do you guys think? Okay, so Kevin, why the hell is there a 2008 Nissan Altima in your shop? What on God's green earth are you doing with this car? I finally got an entry into the Altima 600. It took about a year, but finally got in there. There's only about 100 spots, and I got a spot, which means I needed to get an Altima. These are production cars that race, and everyone has an Altima, either a 2-door, 4-door, V6, straight 4, CVT, manual. Excuse me, that was a good Rockstar burp. Oh, wow. No, we're not going to do a Rockstar livery on this. I'll tell you about the livery in a little bit. Still next to impossible to find in Southwest Florida. I've just been raiding Dollar Generals. Just go in there, walk to the back, look for Rockstar. No Rockstar, walk right out. So why do I have the Altima is because this race is just Altimas. And the goal is to get a super cheap one and race it and win. And I'm not sure entirely what you win. I think it's $1,000 if you win overall, and I think it's 500 bucks for second place and 250 for third, something like that. Um, but it is mainly for fun, and it is up at the Freedom Factory, and they have several races that day throughout the evening. The Ultima 600 is the feature race, so they have, I believe they have Legends. They have God. What are the other cars they have? I think they have 4 or 5 different races that start at like 4 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, and then they go till 10 or 11 at night. Freedom Factory is really great. They've done a great job. Garrett and his whole crew have done a really, really nice job taking that place from kind of rundown into bright lights, live streaming, great, PA. The facilities are all really nice. They've done a really, really great job with it. So, and they keep improving it. It's a 3/8 oval, and there is a crossover in the center, but that's not usually used except for like the school bus races, which is crazy. Top speed at the track is somewhere between 50 and 60 miles an hour. So you're not really kind of that much ass hauling, but you can get going pretty good. And there's only 100 spots. I think the last time they had like 112 cars. It is a standing start, so everyone grids, and it's basically the entire track is filled with cars. So at the start finish, those guys are looking at the taillights of the back of the grid. They can see them right in front of them. So it's a lot of fun. You have average Joes like me who happen to score a ticket. You have former NASCAR drivers. I was really, really, really hoping to meet Greg Biffle and to race against Greg Biffle, but unfortunately he passed away last week, and in just a real awful tragedy. Um, so you have former NASCAR guys, and then like uh, Carson Hovacar and other guys come down and they have fun at this event too. Garrett will have a spare Altima or whatever, and they'll run it. Who else goes down there? The owner of BMP, the other co-owner of BMP, Victor Alvarez, he races. He got jacked up last time. He was in a really gnarly wreck. He walked away from it, thankfully. Um, but the race is a lot of fun. There's a lot of paint trading. There are a lot of CVTs that blow up. I mean, like a lot. These guys get these cars and they go for the V6. They're like, yeah, power, power, power. And yeah, the V6 is great, but it's usually mated to a CVT transmission. And CVT transmissions are great for snowmobiles. They are not great for vehicles. I guess for commuter cars, they can kind of work, but for race cars, you will probably never ever see one in a legitimate race car. That's just not how they're designed. CVT transmissions are basically 2 cones. So you have like a cone shape here and a cone shape here, and the belt, and they're offset like this. So as the belt moves from one side of this cone and one side of this cone, it changes the speed, the output shaft speed. If you look up snowmobile transmission, you'll see what a CVT is. The only difference is instead of a belt, they're using a chain. And there's a guide on the chain to give you a gear. So you have like first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. It's it's one of those things. It's like the rotary engine. It's like, okay, it does work, but it's probably not what you want to use it for. There's better options to use it for. So anyway, guys blow up a lot of CVTs. Guys blow up a lot of engines because they get these cars stupid, stupid cheap. I paid $1,500 for this car total. And we'll go through it, and I'll show you guys everything. But here's the other good news. On Friday night, I sold the car. So I already made my money back. As long as I don't do anything major, flip it over or do frame damage or something. A friend of mine's going to buy the car for his son as a first car. That way, they don't have to worry about paint getting scratched or anything like that. So that's the good news. It's basically a zero sum. I get to go have fun with it. And he said he'd buy it. So that's a pretty good deal. Let's see. Not a fan of CVTs. Now, DCT is definitely far better than CVT. Now, CVT stands for continuously variable transmission. DCT stands for dual clutch transmission. In a dual clutch transmission, you actually have two clutches, and one is always engaged, and the other one is ready for the next gear. So one's engaged, ready for the next gear, it'll engage, and then this other one will release. So the dual clutch transmissions are actually, they're more complicated to work on by far, but they are a much better transmission than the CVT. Then again, just a straight chain drive with a solid rear axle is a better drive system than a CVT. Anyway, so the other cars in there will be Nissan Altimas. Will be two doors, there'll be four doors, and there'll be V6s, there'll be CVTs, there'll be manuals, and there'll be straight fours. So at the last event that I didn't get into, I went down and I was in the pits. By the way, when you go to Freedom Factory to any of these events, any of the events that they have there, whether it's the school bus races or Christmas tree drags or anything else, get the pit pass. It's like $5 or $8 extra. Get it, because the regular attendance is sort of one side of the track. You have all the concessions and the main grandstands and the screens and stuff. But when you get the pit pass, you get the other half of the track. So you can go all the way over to tech. You can go all the way through the pits where all the drivers and their crews and cars are. And then you can come up, you have totally different view of the race, and you can look over across at the grandstands, which is cool. So you have access to, I would say 90% around the track, maybe 80% around, because they have a bunch of facility stuff over on the end. But get the pit pass. It's worth it. So I was in the pit, and I was looking for guys who had done this event before, because I wanted to get information and find out what I needed to do. The best car to have, the tires. Do you guys run 104 in the cars? What do you do? And I'm back there, and they're also running the Danger Ranger 9000, which is another incredible race. These are just Ford Rangers. They're super built, and those are fully caged, and those guys are hardcore. You have regular cabs, super cabs, quad cabs, short bed, long bed. These guys have all the variations of the Rangers. There's the 2.3, the 2.6, the 4-liter. They have all these different combinations. And the Danger Ranger 9000 is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of hardcore guys. And a lot of the guys that race in the Altima 600 also race in the Danger Ranger 9000. They have, two different vehicles. One of the guys that does that is a big social media guy. His name is Speedy Cop, and he is incredibly cool. And I got to talk with him at this event, and he has both a Danger Ranger and a Altima 600 car. And the very first Altima 600 race, he got hit and his gas tank got punctured, and they came in and they couldn't stop the leak. So they actually flipped his car upside down, which is sort of synchronous or synchronicity or whatever you want to call it, because he built the upside down F-body Camaro. So for him to have another vehicle upside down, very poignant. I love that part. So I talked with Speedy Cop about both the Danger Ranger 9000 and the Altima 600. Tons of tips. And he's a serious seasoned racer. He was a former police officer. He's retired from that now. And now he does tons of racing. He's done Lemons Racing, NASA, SCCA. He's done a ton of stuff. And he does killer fabrications too. Really cool stuff. He has like a super short VW bus that has like no wheel, like the wheel well arches are like half an inch. So it's all the way down on the ground. He has the upside down Camaro. He has a drift boat. It's I don't know, 16, 18 foot fiberglass boat. Now, I don't remember. I think it's on a Mustang frame or a Corvette frame. And he drifts this boat. It looks like a speedboat, like drifting. And he's got a ton of other cool stuff. Also, I got to give a big shout out to his crew. They also run a Grom, and Speedy Cop had a flat tire at the last event, and the guy put the spare tire right in front of him, and he was trying to ride the Grom, and I'm watching him go back towards the where Speedy Cop's car was, and you have, kind of this muscular guy with this tire sticking out and then his arm sticking out further trying to control the Grom. It was very comical. His guys were super cool. Speedy Cop is super cool. And we've been texting back and forth a bunch on how to, get the ultimate car. So when I started looking at cars, he's like, don't get the CVT. You got to find a manual. And I found a bunch of manuals. And he's like, doesn't really matter V6 or straight four because you're going to be, probably third gear most of the race. Okay. So get one with a solid engine, as low miles as possible. Doesn't matter which engine. And I said, what about coupe or sedan? He's like, get the coupe because it's lighter weight. And I was like, okay. So took me a while. There's a lot of stuff that's way, way out of price range, $4,000 or $5,000. It's absolutely minty. Then there's stuff that is absolute crap, and it's $300, and it almost comes with four wheels. So finding that out, finding the middle ground there, and then you're on Marketplace, and you send these guys a message, and you're like, "Hey, I would like to give you money, and it's more than a large pizza." And silence. And it's like, hi, I'd like to give you money. Nothing. And I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, you check because you save the listing and it says sold. And you're like, what the shit? And he sold it for $200 less than what I was going to give him. What? What? Okay. I don't understand. And I don't blame Marketplace for that. I blame people for that. So anyway, so I found this this was in Port St. Lucie, which is up by Tarpon Springs. And my friend Berg lives up by Tarpon Springs. So I went up to check out the car, grabbed lunch with Berg, and we went and looked at it. And Berg did not give all the thumbs down to it. So he giggled a little bit when he first saw it, just because we both did. And then we took it for a test drive. We went through some of the check engine lights on the car. Oh yeah, it's lit up. So did the test drive. I cruised back home, and then I talked to the guy for a couple of rounds, and we settled on a price. And then I was going out of town and was flying back to Columbus for a week. So I got with Berg, and I'm like, "Hey, Berg, can I park the car? I'm going to go pick up the car today. Can I park it at your place for, while I'm in Ohio, and I'll come back and pick it up when I get back in town?" And he's like, yeah, no problem. But you got to come back on Monday, or you got to come back by Monday because I'm flying out of town. And I was like, oh, crap. So jumped in the truck this morning, cruised up, picked up the car. I sent Berg a text, and he's like, I'm on a plane. I was like, this works out perfect. So we have a 2008 Nissan Altima, 2.5 liter. So it's a straight four. And we have the 6-speed transmission. On the test drive, I'll tell you guys a few things about the test drive. The suspension is pretty much done. It has okay shocks and struts. I wouldn't do a 1,000-mile trip with this car. I would need new shocks and struts. The brakes go there. How did I explain it? How did I explain it to Speedy Cop? I told him the brakes are softer than the crust on the pizzas at Topoco Lodge. The brakes go all the way to the floor. The clutch, I'm pretty sure the clutch fluid is, I think they replaced it right around the same time Godzilla was born. So yeah, it's not, all the fluids are done. Basically just done. They do work, but they're not good. The parking brake, obviously the cable needs to be reset, something, because it only grabs on the last click. So this whole stroke, there's nothing, and then it grabs on the last click. What else do we got? Well, I'll grab a flashlight and I'll bring you guys over, and we'll go through the car. We'll also pop onto the hood here quick. The only thing that I've done to the car was when I got it off the trailer, I power washed it I just did a quick rinse and then a nice up close power wash on the car. I did not break out the Jax wax gear and polish it and any of that stuff. The only other thing I did was I had the battery maintainer on it all afternoon, trying to make sure the battery stays juiced up. And we'll pull the battery tonight and get it on the full-time maintainer. That's all I've done to the car. I didn't put air in the tires. I didn't put gas in it. Nothing else. And I rolled down the windows after I washed it. So, and pulled it in here. I don't know if that counts for anything. That's the only thing I've done to the car. So we'll go through some of the exterior stuff and then I'll show you the interior stuff. But I think the engine bay is what we should go through first because that's far and away the most important part. So let me grab a light and figure out how to pop the hood. I think I remember it was just a, yeah. Okay. It's just a simple latch under here. And then the hood prop rod is right here. And he's actually not attached to anything in here. The plastic that he's supposed to go into is, of course, missing. I don't know how he angles in there. There we go. Okay. So let me grab a light here. And now, all aluminum, baby. Okay. So, oh, wow. All right. Okay. So, there's still some water from the power washing. I'm gonna bring you guys over and we'll take a look at this thing together as a group. So this is our 2.5 liter. Forgot the name of this engine. Anyway, this is the ECU. And for some reason, they like to put the ECU extremely close to the exhaust. That's a big thing with manufacturers. I have no clue why. I know why. It's to limit wiring. They don't want more wires running into there. But this is a great way to kill ECUs. Computers hate heat. They don't seem to care. We have some kind of, I don't even know what the hell this is. Is this a fuse? So let's pull the battery off this. Check this out, huh? Sweet ass intake. The car originally only has 175 horsepower. So now we probably have 176 with this. Yeah, let's pull the battery off here. This is like a 10 mil. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Is that a fuse for like the stereo? I don't know. We got a 10 mil and a 12, probably a half inch. This battery cable seems to be okay. The Duralast battery did come back to full charge. So I think it's okay. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what all this crap is. I think it's actually going to break. So get this off. Get this battery out of here. Is it like some kind of safety terminal that doesn't come out? Is this a half inch? Yeah, let's see if we can get this thing off. trying not to break whatever that thing is. So it looks like a heat sink. We've got some major stuff plugged in here. So these are fuses. These are big, like 100 amp fuses. And I'm going to guess it's for stereo. I actually don't know what it is. So we'll figure that one out later. And this is nice. The battery's not even tied down. Comes right out. That's pro. All right, so let's get the battery over on a couple of wood blocks and oh crap, on a maintainer. Ugh. All right. My maintainer is over here. Sorry, I'm off camera for a sec. I'll be right back. I just want to get this guy plugged in. Okay, he is plugged. We have a lot of battery maintainers going on here. Okay, there he goes. All right, so battery's out. And yeah, this right here is, it's a little tough to see, but this is a huge fuse block. This is a 100 amp. This is a 30 amp. It's another 100 and another 30. And it's way too nice to be aftermarket. So I'm guessing that this is factory. Just not quite sure what for. Anyway, we will obviously need a battery tie down because we don't have one here. So what else do we have in here? We put the wrenches away. I know, I'm so anal about putting tools away. Sorry. So we have this intake. We don't know where it came from. We don't know the brand. We have some interesting tubing here, which I'm not quite sure if that's rear brake line or what that is. Is it a proportioning valve? It's not threaded. Oh, it's a bleeder. You hear the crunching when I lean against the car? That's not me dry humping the car. That comes all the way up to here. So this is got to be a bleeder. Yeah. That's a brake bleeder, which is, I guess, kind of cool. You have a nice big coil here for cooling stuff off. The car does have AC. The guy told me it blows cold. I'm like, I don't really care. So yeah, you can tell we have aftermarket stereo in here because you have this gigantic. Usually when you have aftermarket stereos, you'll have a big fuse like this, or you'll have a fuse block that'll have like 3 or 4 of these guys. And he runs over here to this. So since we're not using the stereo, we'll probably yank him out of there because all he's doing is causing a potential problem. This clip for the upper rad hose definitely needs a zip tie. Super simple setup on this car. You have an inline 4-cylinder with mismatched coil packs. These two are the same. These two are different. That's awesome. That makes me feel good. You have your transmission down here, your shifter cables and bushings. Those are actually okay. The shifter cables are actually pretty tight in here. We do have a vacuum or vent line that is supposed to go somewhere. And that actually looks exactly where he's supposed to go. Um, I don't see anything else disconnected up here. We do have a check engine light, and the injectors are all plugged in. The thing actually has pretty decent power. Now, here's the fun one. I might grab the camera just so I can show you guys what's going on here. Um, but it's going to be a little tough to see. Oh, we have our fuse box. Where's he? Oh, he opens up here. Let's see what surprises we have in here. Surprise, it's actually crazy clean in the fuse box. No jumper fuses. I don't see any welding taking place. So they didn't really jack with that too much. That's a good thing. And when I say jack with that, I don't mean the previous owner. I mean whoever, installed this stuff and whoever replaced the engine. This is not the original engine. Kev, how the hell do you know it's not the original engine? Would you run the numbers on it? Kind of. Let me show you guys how it's not the original engine. So, do you see that bright orange number right here? And you see the bright orange numbers up here? And on top of the plenum, you have the bright orange numbers up there. What those numbers tell us is that this engine came from pick and pull or a junkyard or something like that. These are their marking numbers that they put on when you go there and buy an engine. So this engine is not the original engine. It is from pick and pull. That's a very, very easy way to tell that it came from the junkyard. These are really hard to get off. So especially when they write it on there like that, these are like hardcore paint pens and they're bright orange. That way you can immediately look at the engine and go, it's a replacement engine. I have no idea how many miles are on this. I'm hoping that it's less than the 180K that's on the car, but I don't know. The previous owner doesn't know because he didn't do the swap. So when they do swaps like this, you run into stuff like this guy is not on, the O2 sensor's not on correctly, and this got bent. He's supposed to slide into this. So there's a lot of stuff that's not, this zip tie, you guys, can you see this blue zip tie right here? That's not supposed to be zip tied. That's actually supposed to have a clamp on it like this, a spring clamp. I got spares that I'll put in there. That does not look incredibly sealed or stable. So you're going to have like big air leaks. This stuff is just hanging out in the breeze that used to attach to the airbox. Overall, it's okay. We do have a gasket leak here. You can see that. You can see my finger. You can see we have a valve cover gasket. This valve cover is plastic. It's a thermoplastic. It's pretty strong, but it's a bad idea. It's just for cheapness. They don't care. I don't have any major, I don't have any major leaks from the coolant or the oil or from the trans. There's nothing in here that tells me, oh crap, we have to take this apart. And when I was at the guy's house and in his driveway, he had no leaks either. So we were actually okay with that when, you pull away and it's not dripping anything. We do have weirdness with the alternator and this wire. That is for the AC because he's supposed to go over here. And the split loom is, I don't know where he's supposed to clip right there and go right there. Okay. That's the problem when you do an engine swap like this. You got to get all these clips and stuff back into the right spots. And we're missing a I should not be able to do that. This needs a bolt in it, so we're missing that. Maybe it's in the car. We haven't really gone through the car yet. Everything else looks okay. This is obviously, I'm sure this is going to be, actually, it's not too bad. Is there hair in there? I don't know what the hell's in there. I'm terrified. It looks like there's hair in there. So we have and he is filled, I think. We have a brake master cylinder. I don't know where the clutch. I don't think they share, do they? I gotta look now. No, they don't. There's only two coming out of there. Yeah. So now we got to find the clutch master cylinder. Of course, it'll be buried somewhere, right? You would think it would be on the same side as the transmission, but that's just crazy talk. So we'll have to find the clutch master cylinder as well. Again, I don't know these engines. I'm completely brand new to them. What do we got here? We have our coolant, our washer fluid, our overflow. Oh my God. The coolant is Tatooine brown. If you are a Star Wars fan, you know what color that is. There's our ABS module. I don't see any hoses clipped or ripped or undone up here, so I'm hoping maybe some intake cleaner gets rid of our codes. Fuel rail looks okay. Nothing major there. Reverse light switch. All this other stuff actually looks okay. Just need to find the clutch master cylinder and we'll be in good shape. There's the AC. You would think also that it would be up nice and high, right? So wait, what do we got here? What is this? It comes up to this, it comes up to here, and then goes back into what? Maybe the clutch master cylinders in the car? Oh, nope. He does share it with the brake fluid. Here's our third output. So we have the two outputs with the brakes. So this is also our clutch, which sucks that we don't have a separate clutch master cylinder, because that way, if your brakes go out, your clutch also goes out. Or if your clutch goes out, your brakes also go out. So it sucks that we can't run separate, but we'll do all new fluid for everything. And we'll get it super stiff. Talking like 9th grade homeroom, super stiff. We're also missing a bolt on the heat shield, missing 2 bolts on the heat shield. We'll take those off anyway. Not, again, not too super concerned with heat, because this is only going to be running for about 2 hours. Hey, look what I found. Nope, but it is one of the bolts. So we're just going to put it in the safe tray. It's a trim bolt for something. God. So that's kind of engine bay for now. Like I said, this is definitely a replacement engine. And it looks like they did a whole block fully dressed except for the coil packs, or they had failed coil packs, but they did everything. Throttle body, plenum, intake, rail, fuel rail, alternator, everything. All the exhaust, the cats are still attached to, so they basically got the whole thing. And this looks like, it's tough to tell, but it looks like they got the trans too. Maybe not. They might have replaced. There's a missing bolt. They replaced the trans. So, whoops. So that's engine bay. Let's go. Let's go check out the car inside. Again, this is okay. This is nothing. Nothing too. You don't want to say bad, right? You just want to say it's nothing too terrible, or nothing that can't be worked out, right? So let's go hop in the car portion of the car. Oh crap. Yeah, I got to do something with that hood strut. Okay. Might have to get pneumatic struts just because this is not very stable. Oh yeah. Oh no, that just slides down in there. And there's no clip on this side too. That's missing. Okay. And you can tell the paint is sweet. Look at this. I mean, whew. So the car was originally plastadipped, and it was plastadipped green, like this metallic green color. You can sort of see it on the roof here. I'll get you guys a little better view before we go in the car. Let go, little camera. So this is the roof, and it was this metallic green. Now all this stuff has to get peeled off. And what I'll do is I'll use some WD-40 and get this loosened, because this is all just sun-baked on here. And it is. It's just Plastidip. So we'll get some WD-40 and get some, oil inside there, hopefully underneath this stuff, and get it all off. Now the power washing did take a lot of it off, but we can get a better finish by taking it off here. And this stuff is all just sun-baked on here, so it's really difficult to get off. Sorry, really difficult to remove. Tatooine brown. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, the coolant needs a flush. So, one known issue with the car is that the rear seat does not, all the other controls work, and I have not looked at this. All the other controls work. I guess once you, where's the key? What the hell? Of course, it makes me look foolish. Oh, there's still stuff in here. Yeah, we might have to get a brush, like a plastic brush. What the hell? The key is sitting right here. Oh, I'm trying to start it. It doesn't have a battery in it. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Anyway, the seat does not, all the functions of the seat work except for forward and backwards. So, and obviously the tilt lever is missing here. I don't know what happened with this panel, but this is something that has to be addressed, because currently it is all the way back. It's a little too back for me. If you notice, it has the glow in the dark shift knob. Here, we'll turn the light off. There you guys go. That's a little better view of the glow in the dark shift knob. Steering wheel does have a cover on it, which I'll have to take off. It just makes the steering wheel way too big. All of the dash lights work correctly. All the gauges work correctly. The stereo, not exactly mounted. Here, I'll bring you guys a little closer and a little more down in. So this stuff is just totally loose in here. I think there's a bezel in the trunk. Um, this thing still works, sort of, the cover. The shifter, like I said, it's all over the place. And the shifter does work, but it also goes to the floor. You can barely tell that you're shifting. The window switches work if you hit them and then say, please work. So they do work. Um, this is this is going to be a little bit different. Oh, it's got an electric sunroof, and the guy said it works. I have not tested it because I know as soon as I do test it, it stops working. We're going to leave the stock belts in here. We're going to leave the stock seat. Passenger seats coming out. The rear seats are coming out. So this car weighs. Why won't you go, little wheel? This car weighs 3,053 pounds. I have to get it under 3,000 pounds. That means passenger seat has to come out and the rear seats have to come out as well. Now, I'll save those, obviously, because the car's getting sold, but I need to somehow drop at least 54 pounds out of this car so I can be under 3,000 pounds. The real highlight, the tires are in great shape. The tires have maybe 2,000 or 3,000 miles on them. They're the Pirelli P4. They're all seasons. They're like 400 tread wear. They're actually in really, really good shape. So the tires are going to last a long time. The wheels have a ton of curb rash, a ton of paint missing. The glass is all solid in the car. There's no broken glass. I didn't see anything. So all the glass is actually okay. The dash is the sticky dash. So we got to figure out how to get rid of that. We'll come around to the back of the car. I probably should have popped the trunk before the battery came out. The trunk has been repaired. I believe it took a hit somewhere, or it did originally have the coupe's rear wing on here. I do not have a rear wing. That doesn't really faze me. You can see more of that plastic dip shit in here. But also, they didn't peel the tape away when they painted this. So when I power washed it, hang on, there's some chunks of it here. I'll see if I can get a piece out for you. When I power washed it, like big chunks of this masking tape was. It's all still in there. They never removed it. So, yeah. There's stuff like that. The taillights work. 3 of the 4 headlights work, which is a good thing. I'm not sure what's wrong with the 4th one. We do have a dent here just above the wheel arch on the passenger side. There's a few other small dents that I'm hoping when we take panels off, we can punch out. So the one dent, it's like right here, like right where this is. And when we take panels out, we'll be able to push that. You guys can see that dent right here. So when we take panels out, be able to just punch that out really quick and hopefully do some PDR on it. There's a full-size spare, which is going to save us probably 20 pounds, 25 pounds. That's another good thing. We need that out of there. That's about it, I think. God, there's this plastic dip. You guys, please don't plastic dip stuff. It is such a horror show to take off. And it's on the rubber trim too. That'll have to be just a plastic brush. Oh yeah, it's on the weather stripping and shit. Oh, and it's not a very nice word right there. I'll just take care of that with what's left of our fingernail. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually take care of that. I don't think that was from the previous owner. I think that was an immature friend. Where the hell did I just had a razor here. There he is. There he is. I think they were talking like this, and his friend thought it would be funny to put this not very nice word here. And then his buddy would drive around Ha ha ha, giggle, giggle, giggle. So we'll just take this. And don't get me wrong, I can swear like a sailor. This one's, we don't like to use this one. I like to use the C word before I use this one. How's that? There we go. Actually, this would be a pretty good test for that WD-40. I think the last time I removed um, Plastidip, somebody drew a face right there. I used WD-40 stuff that was baked on, and I just had it in like a paper towel and just wiped it all over. So maybe let this stuff sit. Hey, yeah. Yeah, it works pretty well. I'll bring this razor blade over in a second. You guys can see. Just have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to jack up the car any more than it already is, right? So I'll show you what comes off when you do this. Come here, little sample pack. So when you do WD-40, you get stuff like this. There you go. We'll cruise into the light. Take the camera back here. So that's the stuff you get off the roof. So yeah, this will get, yeah. We might have to come in here with like an eraser wheel and take this stuff off just because it's just so baked on. I'll let that WD-40 soak and see what happens. But when stuff gets baked on like that, it's always a mess. Always a mess. Oh, and of course I have the Grinch fingers just in time for Christmas, right? And then you guys can see on the door here how it has some of this Plastidip is still on here. And it's on the weather stripping in here. So it's a pain in the ass. Huge pain in the ass. I'd almost rather have a wrap. Anyway, the one thing that I do have that I wanted to show you guys, and we'll tilt this up a little. I don't know why it's so low. One thing I'm going to use, and this is, if you guys don't have one of these, I highly recommend you get one. This is just it's like a folder, and it's a dry erase board on two sides, and it's magnetic, so you can, this one doesn't stick. My other markers stick. So you can make notes and then take it around the car and check stuff off as you go. Now I have a big whiteboard on the wall there, and that has all the limo stuff. So I'm going to use this one for all the Ultima stuff, and I'm going to go through all the stuff I need to get, all the stuff that needs replaced, that sort of thing. But if you're doing stuff in the shop, I highly recommend this, especially for projects. And this is going to be one of the smaller projects, correct? So I don't have to do a roll cage. I don't have to do fire suppression. I don't have to do, huge suspension work or anything like that. We're doing new brake fluid. We're doing new brake pads. We're going to do an oil change. We're going to do a coolant swap and probably do new gear oil for the transmission. God, I don't want to do gear oil for the transmission. It smells so bad. So we'll do all new fluid and new brake pads on this, and the car will basically be ready to go. Now, here's the best part for the car. is I was working on this yesterday. I wanted to come up with a theme for the car. And because a lot of the guys have, I gotta wash my hands because I can feel this plastic dip on me. And it feels gross. It's worse than like boogers. Ugh. Okay. So I was working on a theme for the car, and um, what I came up with was, so this is an Altima, and you guys all know about big Altima Energy, and the guys who were running that actually had to turn it off because it became too much work for them. They were getting paid, and it still was too much work. That's a crazy sign. That's how popular something is. So um, the guys who started that, it was very funny. There was a lot of funny stuff on there. There were spottings, all this other thing. It was great. Um, and now there's BAE 2.0, and it was really funny because Facebook thought it was like a natural gas company or electric power company or something. Big Ultimate Energy. That's what they thought it was. Anyway, that was the other part of the humor. So BAE, and it's also short for Bay, which is a affectionary term. I wanted to change that, and I'm going to use those letters as part of my theme. So I'm not going to spoil it on what it is, but I'm definitely going with where'd you go? Oh, I was looking for my rock star. Definitely going with a BAE theme as a hat tip to BAE, as a hat tip to, a whole bunch of stuff. I thought that would be pretty fun. We got a number picked out. Going to check with Freedom Factory and make sure that one's still okay. Freedom Factory is pretty cool. If numbers are doubled, they'll add an X or an A, whatever. They'll add it to the end of it, so you can still kind of keep your number, and they're pretty good with that stuff. Uh, what else? I think that's about it. Definitely have to check the check engine light on there. It was for one of the variable vane things at startup, and I think it's unplugged. So that'll have to be something that I go through, look around underneath and make sure it's still plugged in, because it fails immediately when I clear the code. When I was at the guy's house and I cleared the code, it failed immediately. So I think it's something that's unplugged versus something that takes a while to show. But other than that, it had no other issues regarding the check engine light, and it actually runs and drives just fine with that variable vane error. So not a huge deal with that. And if that's the only code, this is a good score. When my buddy buys it after the race, it's actually going to be a pretty decent car. Now, we do have some customization here, as you can see. That's what you heard when I was leaning over the engine bay, dry humping the car. These are not attached on this side. For the Ultima 600, you actually get bonus points if your front fascia and or your rear fascia come off during the race. So these are going to be set up with very, very, very tiny zip ties, and they will barely be on. If they make it 2 laps, I'll be seriously impressed. But they're going to be set up where if you bumped it that hard, the zip tie would break. So I don't know if you guys have seen the little skinny, they're super skinny, barely bigger. I don't know, the 16th of an inch. They use them in electronics. And so for like bundling wires, these will be attached in limited form by a few of those little tiny zip ties, front and rear. That way, someone touches this, the fascia comes right off. Bonus points. Now I have to be careful too because it's going to be difficult for my buddy to buy the car if the rear fascia is completely missing. But these are actually pretty easy to find too. So um, that's another fun thing about the Freedom Factory. They have bonus points if if you do different stuff. Um, it's pretty fun. Those guys, they have a really good time with it. Like I said before, the crew up there is amazing. Um, the race is red light, green light, so there's no cautions. They only do the red light when there's too many cars piled up and they have to come out and move cars. And we do red light, you maintain your position, you stop as soon as you can, and then they go green light again. Um, it makes for a very interesting race because a lot of guys try and catch that green light on the way out. And yeah, you can pass a lot of cars that way. I watched Speedy Cop pass like 4 cars that way. So they have a big forklift and they come in and they pick the cars up in the under tray, lift it up and bring everyone to the infield and they stack everyone up on the infield until the race is over. And then people can either limp their car back or those guys will tow it back. But their crews are crazy fast. They're really good. They're really good. And all the people at Freedom Factory, the people checking tickets and parking you, everyone's really friendly, really nice, super cool folks. So it's definitely a very cool place to go. What Garrett's done there is amazing. Because like I said, it was basically abandoned. It was just a huge pit. Um, I don't know what, 20 minutes outside of Bradenton, 20 minutes east of Bradenton. There was really nothing there. And the drag strip was worn down and the grandstand sucked and all this. Garrett went in and bought, it was originally called DeSoto, and he bought DeSoto and then uh, went in with Victor on BMP, and those guys have just dumped money and money and money and money into those. They've also done super fun events. So, I mean, they have, Nitro Funny Cars there. They have huge NHRA events and all that stuff at BMP. And then at Freedom Factory, they're going pretty much every weekend. They have some kind of cool event, Cars and Cletus or the Ultimate 600 or whatever. They're always going there. So those guys are doing a good job, definitely. And it's also, if you can't make it to the event, which would be cool if you did, but if you can't, they have Freedom Plus, FRDM, the plus symbol is their streaming service, and they stream all their events from Freedom Factory and from Bradenton Motorsports Park. So you can sign up per event, or you can get like a year subscription or whatever it is. They make it super easy. So you can go to Freedom Plus, you can watch the whole race, and they have all the races. They have the Legends cars. I forgot what other cars are there, and then the Danger Ranger 9000, and then the Ultima 600. Great crew. Camera crew is awesome. The commentators are great. The commentators really know the guys. They have a lot of fun with it, and they're really good with history. So they're a lot of fun to listen to. What else? We got messages in here. Sticking with the 700s. No, the number will not be in the 700s. As much as I want to do the Kimi Räikkönen thing and stick with the sevens and the 707 and 777 and Steve Vai and all that stuff, the number I'm going for is not in the 700s. So it'll be a little bit different. But the good news is pretty solid. It's a lot of, for this car, it's just a lot of maintenance that really should have been done, but just because they were Altima owners, they just never did it. And also, when you put a replacement engine in there, you sort of don't give a shit anymore. And you're like, if it blows up, it blows up. But we're going to do an oil change. We're going to put a nice filter on there. We're going to use really nice oil. We'll do gear fluid. God, I don't want to do gear fluid. We'll do gear fluid. We will do new brake pads, all brake fluid, clutch fluid, and all new coolant. And we'll use the really nice coolant too, because I don't know what the hell's in there. It's brown. It is like Amazon box brown. It's bad. Amazon box brown in the rain brown. Yeah, that's how brown it is. So It is just kind of basic maintenance. The race is January 17th. So I've got what, 2 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, about 4 weeks to get the car prepped and ready to go. And actually, it shouldn't be that hard. A roll cage is not required. A seatbelt is required. They recommend helmet, Hans, fire suit, all that. The rules of the race at the driver's meeting, they tell you avoid the driver's side door. Now, since we're not at Mock Jesus, if you bonk into someone here or in the back or whatever, it's usually not a bad thing. If you have a Hans on, less chance of going Dale Earnhardt, and you know you can be pretty safe at 45, 50 miles an hour in one of these, as long as you stay away from the driver's side door. So that's going to be the trick. You will see a lot of bumping. You will see a lot of paint trading. Bumpers removed, bumpers trying to get removed and then pushed back on at incredible speeds. So yeah, it'll be a ton of fun, a ton of fun. Yeah, I did find a decent one. I was looking at 2008. I wanted to stick in that year. They seem to have the best four-cylinder engines, and then they seem to have the best six-speed transmission going with the four-speed or the four-cylinder engine. And then there were also not the CVT issues that they had after. I think I want to say it was 2009 to 2017. I can't remember. I'd have to look that up again. All the CVTs had issues, every single one. And it's amazing that some of these guys run these cars with CVTs. It's crazy. Even when I talk to Speedy Cop, he's like, I can't believe these guys run CVTs. They know what's going to happen. But everyone has that hope. Oh, my CVT is the best CVT. Probably not. There's no such thing. That's like, my poop's the best poop. No, it's not. No, it's not. So yeah, it'll be a very, very fun race. I got a cool car that's already sold. So basically I have $0 into it, except for, some fluids and pads. And some labor taking green plastic off the roof. But otherwise, I'm super excited about it. And we'll do some live streams with this, hopefully this week, taking the interior apart. Now, all that stuff I have to save. But like I said, I'd like to get it down under 3,000 pounds. So I got to get rid of 54 pounds in order to get it at $29.99. Taking the interior out is going to be very close to that. Taking all the stuff out of the trunk is going to be a little closer. So with any good fortune, we get 60 pounds out of this car just by taking the interior out without destroying it, because when it gets sold, all that interior goes back in. So, and then we'll get some paint and get some gloss black on here so that it at least reasonably matches. Like you guys can see, the hood is not, we might have to sand that. We're going to have to sand that. So we get this stuff taken care of and get this car ready for the race. When the livery gets unveiled, we'll definitely do a stream for that too, which hopefully you guys like. I talked to Speedy Cop about it. Oh, Jesus, sorry, I didn't mean to spit on you. I talked to Speedy Cop about it tonight, and he thought it was great. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to talk to guys like that who have done this, have tons of experience. I mean, I got a ton of lemons experience. He's way past me. He's gone to other countries to raise lemons. He's way past me. So it's nice to have that, that sounding board, that reference board. And I can handle most of the stuff myself, but he's got all the little tweaks and, oh no, talk to this guy, or hey, have you looked at this shifter bushing, or whatever. He's got it. He also runs a coupe. I don't know what year his is, but he runs a coupe, and he also runs a manual transmission, but I think he has the V6 in his, and he's fast as shit. So if I can keep up with Speedy Cop, that'd be cool. I don't think I'm keeping up with him. He's been at that track a whole bunch of times. I've never raced on an oval, so this will be my first time on the oval, and especially one this small. Daytona's a different beast altogether, but doing a little 3/8 oval, this will be fun. This will be fun. We'll definitely go high side. So I appreciate you guys hanging on tonight and checking out the car with me. Like I said, we'll go into a lot more detail when we get going on doing this stuff. We get it up on jack stands. I already got the jack stands out. We're going to get everything cleaned up. We're going to check for leaks. Engine bays getting the degreaser and everything. All the uh, wheel wells, everything's getting degreased and cleaned. And then we'll put it up on jack stands and we'll see what we've got. So um, we'll just do it in sections, and hopefully you guys you'll enjoy the ride. And hopefully other Ultima 600 racers will come in and say, oh, Kevin did this and he got 96th place, or Kevin did this and he got second place. So that's what we're hoping for. So hopefully folks learn from this too. And at the very, very, very least, we're going to go through some simple maintenance that applies to tens of thousands of different cars, like changing the oil, changing the brake fluid, like complete brake fluid swap, complete coolant swap. We'll do all that stuff, and this will be stuff that you can apply to regular cars, to race cars, to off-road trucks, to big diesel mammoth jammas, whatever you need. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions, whatever, please post them down there. I'll definitely reply to you guys. I'm pretty good about that stuff. And like I said, I really appreciate all the new subscribers. That was a big shock to me today. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully I'm doing what you guys like, and I'll keep doing it. Like I said, I don't get paid for any of this. So you guys are liking it. I'm going to keep delivering it. And yeah, so we'll do more Ultima stuff this week. And I think that's it. We'll try and get this car cranked out pretty good. I am going to have to order parts. I'm going to have to order the brake pads, but most of the rest is, and the Motul. We're going to run Motul 600 in this, which is complete and total overkill for a Nissan Altima, but I want it to run nice. And then I'll have, hopefully I'll have some friends over and they can help me with bleeding the clutch and bleeding the brakes and getting all that old nasty fluid out of there. So hopefully you guys will join us for all of those. I'll try to put details in the description when I fire up the live, and that way you know what we're doing. If it is boring to you, then you don't have to watch it. But if it's something you want to see, cool. And I think that's about it for tonight. Again, I really appreciate you guys. You're awesome. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you tomorrow. Let's do cool shit tomorrow. All right. Cool. Who would have ever thought that thing right there would be a race car? Huh. Crazy.